I'm Katrina, and this is Sow and Tare. This is part 2 for trail cameras, placement, and tips. If you've not watched the first one, I'll put a link up here so you can watch the first one first. And this is the second one. Enjoy.
We want to think about other places we can put this. Now, again, that is a good trail. I already knew it was a good trail, and we know this. I am going to put some out on the edges of the hayfield later, and because I want to catch those elk. So that is the reason for that. I have a very particular reason why I'm doing it, and all that. Now, so I do have a water source here, so putting cameras at water sources is going to get you some really good pictures. If you have a water source, a water trough, a pond, a stream, a spring, then you will get animals coming there for water. So it's a good place to put your camera at. So that's where we're going right now. I'm following a deer trail, and we'll see you there. Now here's an intersection of trails. This is the trail I just came down. Goes up that way. Oh, kitties are following me. Hi, kitties. I'm guessing mama kitty's behind them. It goes this way, and I know this is a deer and elk trail, probably other things too. That goes around and then kind of around that way. Those are pear trees right there, but it does also go this way. So see this trail right here? It goes this way, and here's our water source. It doesn't look like a great water source. It's not quite a water source yet right here. Little old pond. It needs to be cleaned up, but that filled up last winter, and then it also has right there is where the water drips out. So there is a level there with water. Over here is where my flow through well comes through, and there is water here dripping pretty much all the time. So this gets a shot of water pretty continuously at a low dose. Okay, so we have the pond view behind you guys, the trail that most wildlife is going to be using to come in here. So pond's over here, trail's over here, and then the water source is over here, and then this pond will fill in a wet year. So that's kind of what we're looking at. There is a small trail that goes that way. You guys are melting. There is a small trail that goes back there, but I'm not going to be concerned with that right now. Now, here's a place where it's like, what do we see? Is there something I can put a camera on? Now, if there's not, you can simply pound in a stake or use this mobile method that I'm going to have in this next video. And then we're just going to look and see if there's an appropriate place. And I haven't actually had this thought process here yet. I knew I wanted to put one over here, but I saved this thought process for you guys. So hopefully we'll be able to talk it out together. Now, most wildlife will be coming in basically where the camera is. So that's what we want to capture. We're going to get prints because this has been, well, outside of the pond has been recently disturbed. So we're going to get some prints, and we're going to get some of these other, indicators like scat and stuff like that. So I'm going to go over here and see if there's any real place to put a camera, because I'm not really seeing one immediately. Hi, buddy. Hi. Okay, so I think I see where I can put something, but I'm gonna have to remove a lot of things, and I think I am gonna put it there. I gotta think about this. So where I want to put this camera, I'll show you. Well, Mama Kitty just went in the culvert. Where I want to put this camera is right up on that little tree. Oops. Yeah, that little tree right there. Because it's up high enough that it's stink on me. Hi, kitties. Oh, Ringo, be nice. So it's up high enough that it's gonna see everything that approaches. All right, so the camera is approximately the right direction as where I would put the camera up there, but I'm gonna have a big problem with flashback if I put it there. So I would have to do quite a bit of trimming. So I'm gonna sit here and think about this. You guys are basically what would capture. It'd be higher, it'd be taller. I kind of think I want to do that though, because it wouldn't get the pond, but it would get animals coming to the pond. It might get the pond. I'm using you guys as a reference. So it might get part of the pond. Ooh, actually that one would be better. Okay, I'm looking directly behind the culvert, and I think that one's going to be better and have a little less trimming involved. I do have to take out a big branch, it's not big, of a cherry plum, some hawthorn, and blackberry, but I think that's what I'm going to do. And I do need to get, I didn't bring my tools to do that. So let me go get those tools and do that. Okay, so I've changed my mind. I want to put it on. I can't see with this. Let's see. Right here. I want to put it on that one right there. So with that as my goal, I have some plants to get rid of. And again, that is for the infrared flash and also just general visibility. But the infrared flash will bounce back. If the infrared flash hits something and it's too close, it's going to really flash back as white, and you won't be able to see what's behind it. So it'd be similar to just like putting a flashlight in a mirror and be like, wow, that's really blinding. So it'd be very similar to that, just in the rough outline of whatever's blocking it. So here we go. Okay, I have a little bit more cutting. I'm going to try and put you guys up by the camera. Okay, so this is where I'm going to put the camera. Now, I do have some more clearing to do on that side. I'll do that after I put up the camera. But you can see this is now open. The tree that was going this way is gone. I'm going to take one of these cameras and put it in there. Let's see, put it in here, and I'm gonna have to go back and take off these plastic things because I forgot that on the other cameras. When they're brand new cameras, they have these little plastic covers, that stickies. I'll do that for the other ones, but make sure you remove them and put them in your pocket so they don't become yard trash. So it looks like I'm, fairly short on here, but to the rest of the world out there that we're aiming for, it's going to be pretty tall. So I'm actually, let me take out this too. This Himalayan blackberry that's here is like the thorniest Himalayan blackberry I've ever seen. So this is going to go on the tree, and this is one that we're definitely going to wrap around and hide the tail of, because it will get played with, I can tell you that, in here in the forested area. Now here we might get little squirrels too. I've seen chipmunks cross the road, but never know exactly where they live over here somewhere. Okay. So I'm going to set this probably down here. Let's see how that does. Okay. So again, this is pointing down. It's about that angle. And that is a good thing because we are up and we want to look down. So let's see what our field of view is. What I'll probably do is I'll do a review of special techniques later as another video, just as a sit down. Because I think that will be helpful. All right, so there's our field of view. This is at the bottom of the picture, so I want to tilt it more than that, I think. I see you guys, and all the way over to the pond, all the way over here. I think actually I'm gonna keep it and see what happens. I might choose to tilt this even further later, but I kind of want to see what happens. So I'm going to wrap this around. Now make sure when you do tuck in the tail that you tuck it in well, because otherwise it will flap. I have one camera right now that I need to do that to up on the hill. So that tail is fully tucked there. Our view looks pretty all right. Turn it on and close it up. So I need to trim some of those. I don't need to for this purpose. It's not going to actually flash back at that distance. It's probably 15 feet away. It's not going to be bouncing back too much, I don't think. It's just that I would have a better view to the pond. So I'll probably do that another day and go from there. But I'll show you what I see from here, and then you'll know what the pictures are going to look like. All right, so that's the approximate view. A little further down, there's the head of the culvert there. But that's the approximate view, and we'll probably fine-tune this one after I see some pictures. The cats go over here, I think, quite a bit, so that should at least get some data. But it will be a really good test, especially for when that water fills up. That'd be pretty cool. So we're in the hayfield now, and this is a pretty well-used path I'm walking on. This is used by elk and deer for sure. Oh, here's some deer poo. And the elk really like it out here as well. Now, as you can see, this tree has had some effects. It's had some breaking branches. It's had some pretty severe rubbing. And the reason for that is elk love this tree, apparently. This area has been batted down, eaten all over underneath this tree. Now this tree is multiple trees. There's apple tree, there's rose hips, and there's something else in there. Hawthorn maybe? Anyway, it's like not just one tree, but they absolutely love this area. I found scat all up and down in the pasture. Last year they spent the winter, earlier pre-dawn mornings out here clashing together their antlers, and it was a boy group. What can we say? They do that. But what's also cool, so what's really cool is on the other side of this tree is this fence, and this is property fence, but everything jumps over it. It is now this tall on me. This is the area where I've seen elk just step over. Like they just dip, dip, dip. It looks lower than it was before. The previous owner of the property did kind of push down some fences where he kept on having to rescue animals from. So this is an area that I know is absolutely being used. There's trails going that way and that way and that way. In fact, there's 4 trails. There's one going that way. There's 4 trails here. Now, I know this has a lot of access points because there's trails coming to this point from up on the pasture, from over where the bear went up the hillside in that previous video. There's a crossing right there that comes down that's very heavily used. There's another fence that's bent down over there. And so I know this is a really good place to put a camera. Now, where to put a camera is the question. This tree is very well used by elk and deer and whatever else. It is a very old, very good tree. Sorry, tree. You've been through a lot. And so do I want to put something on it? The answer is yes, I do. Is it a good idea? It's a risk. So that is a risk I think I'm going to take right now. And I may realize that I lose a camera. Elk are stronger than cameras. So that's something to consider. I do know this tree is very well loved. So if that happens, I have to be okay with the answer. I have to be okay with, wow, okay, well my camera's bashed up or it got like this and it's missing somewhere. Like I have to be okay with that. And so I think I am going to put a camera here because this area stays low enough that anything here, you know, isn't going to bounce back. There's a couple of grass plumes that I'll pull out, you know, and I'll just do this kind of thing. But I don't have to do much of that. And I know the animals will maintain it for me. So if this is a permanent place for this camera, say, and again, I think it probably will be, just because I love wildlife watching and I know this is a big crossing area, then the animals are going to do most of that maintenance for me. So I am going to put a camera there, but I do have to be okay with the risk of putting it there. So that's something. Now, I'm not going to put it facing there because that's somebody else's property. But I do have a post that is on that fence line that I can put a camera on as well. So I'm going to put a camera on this tree, I think facing out this way. And then the camera on that is going to face this way, I think. So I'm going to kind of double up a little bit, but facing different directions and see what I come up with. And go from there. So I may need my extra strap on this. I probably don't actually. Okay, where's this camera? It's over here. So see how you don't need a backpack for this? It's so awesome. So awesome. Okay, and again, I know I'm going for elk, but I also know I'm going for elk that are somewhat at a distance, also close up, but somewhat at a distance. So I am going to put it higher. I don't know how high elk are. They can be like 10 feet at the shoulders or something like that. I don't know, 8 feet at the shoulders. They're really tall. They're over 1,000 pounds. These are Roosevelt elk. They're the biggest elk. They're the biggest elk, and I'm pretty sure the smallest deer. Maybe not the smallest, but they're pretty small. Okay, so I think... Oh, and I left my loppers over there, so I'll have to go get them. I think I'm going to put this... right here. So ordinarily I would only put it on this one and try and thread through here, but because of stability, because there's another knot here, I'm going to put the camera here, so I want that in the strap. So I want to sit like this, and that has to have this involved. So something to think about when you're setting up cameras. Okay, I think that's gonna be good. I'm gonna check and see what it covers. Remember to take off these. Yeah, I think that's going to be good coverage. It's going to be a little high. Do I want it that high? Okay, you guys are approximately where the camera is. It's about a foot that way and a little higher. I'm just backing up to see. I don't have to move any of the grass if I put it that high, which is good. It will pick up grass blowing in the wind later. It will go north to south. It will get shadows. Sorry, this is not north to south. This is east to west. It will get shadows, but that's okay because I have a target. And I think this is going to be okay. So I'm going to put this one here and we'll go on to the next one. On and close. So actually I just came up with a different idea for this because there is a post right here. Here's a wooden post, but I think I might get better shots on that dead limb. I think. So this is the limb I'm talking about right here. It's not all the way vertical, but it's somewhat vertical. It is dead. It is in the danger zone. And again, this is accepting risk. And I think I can position it so that I'm mostly filming on my property, which is a good idea. So I'm going to set this up and see how it looks. Danger zone meaning antler zone. But again, if you're accepting that risk, then it's okay. I think I am going to put it up a little higher. I was going to put it here, but I think things might rub on that. So you do have to think about the wildlife as well when you're setting these up, about what their actions are likely to be. And the boys are getting itchy on the antlers. All right, so you tighten this. That's tight now, but the camera's crooked. So question is, do we care if the camera's crooked? We may or we may not. Depends on your attitude. So we can try and bump it out there. And what helps with this, when you're moving something from its natural angle, can you guys see that? Yes. When you're moving something from the natural angle, you pull this strip, it's going to be somewhere on this line, right? When you move something and tilt something, what's good to do, you have this strap to wind around, wind it under, hold it where it needs to be, oops, then wind it over, then wind it under again. And that under tension, if you pull up on it, is going to give it some tilt. You may not get as much tilt as you want, but it's gonna be okay. So there's our last under. Oops. And we definitely want to make sure we don't have anything flapping here, because that can go in the camera's face, as it were. So we're going to find a place to tuck this in. Might have to loosen our last go around. There we go. loosen it for now, tuck it in, wrap it again. So I just tucked it in, wrapped it around again, and I'm gonna go one more time, and that should solidify it enough that it holds that angle. I can go up a little bit, and holds this tail. Now this tail is still pretty long. That isn't as tight as I want it to be. Okay. So I'm going to tuck it back just like that, and that will work. So sometimes you have to be creative in your placement, and it's kind of not staying there. If you wanted to put a nail in the tree, or if you wanted to put something underneath somewhere, you can do that. I'm not going to worry about it. I don't care if these pictures are, you know, perfectly level to the ground, but let's see what it looks like. So turn to aim. And I only tightened it up because there's not really much else I can do on here, and I know I don't want it higher. All right, so I gotta walk. Okay, so that's a pretty good height. Where I know they're walking, there's a trail here and then over here. And, sorry, the sun is in my face. And here's where they're jumping. And I can clearly see that it could be taller. It could actually be taller. Okay. I'll show you guys how I'm going to address being taller. So I've already tightened this down pretty good. And so what I'm going to do is get a stick and put it behind it, and we'll see what that looks like. And oftentimes you don't have to attach these, you can just shove them up there and they'll be fine. This will also help it keep in place straighter. All right, let's see how that is. All right, so that works for me. It does look like maybe the neighbor did some more cutting, which is fine. We know this is a wildlife crossing. We're on good terms with that. Or maybe this is old. I don't know. But in any case, that would hurt to step on, even if you were elk. So let's turn this to on and close it up. And I want to thank you for watching. The next video is going to be about how to use a mobile system, and that will address all things for shorter targets as well. So if you have, you know, if you're going after foxes or badgers or anything like that, that will address that as well. And you can put a stake in the ground, or you can use a bucket, a mobile bucket, and that's the system that I show in the next video. So, but you could also just use a stake in the ground. That's what we've used professionally, and that works. So, I will also have a video of, I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but like special cases, and we'll put that together as special cases, some interesting things that you can do besides just this regular how to do it and tips and tricks and stuff. So definitely watch the next video in the series for looking how to set up a camera for a low target, and then also how to set up in the mobile system. So both of those things are going to be in that video. And then again, we're going to have a future video about the specialized stuff you can do. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And like I said, this is a kind of how-to. So we have a series of how-to. These videos will also be in the camera, or in the what are they called? Trail camera, in the trail camera playlist. So there'll be a trail camera playlist, and then a more of a how-to playlist that this will be in. So those that want just the how-to can go to here, and then people that want, hey, things that showed up on the camera, will go in the other playlist as well. So anyway, thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video. We do have a lot of homesteading topics on this channel. I am introducing this. I'm a wildlife biologist, and I know a lot about camera trapping. I have a lot of experience with it. And then also just, I think it's something, if you have a homestead, it's a good idea to know how to do and have these tips and tricks, and to be confident in setting them up. So that's what I hope to introduce to you. But again, I am a wildlife biologist, and so we do have live chats every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, except for the first Monday of the month is on Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So I encourage you to join with that, and like the video, share it along to people who need to learn how to camera trap, and have a wonderful day. Subscribe, yeah, all those good things. Have a wonderful day, guys, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.